Hey everybody, Steve Ritter here. Happy Sunday to you. So I was reading the other day, and I just want to share something that occasionally, I mean, these are some things over the years that I've picked up as I read the Bible and my faith and I just wanted to share this one. This one always was a powerful one for me. But from John chapter 5. There's a story. Jesus was in Jerusalem for one of the festivals, and he stopped by a pool, Bethesda, the pool of Bethesda, which and the legend was, or the story was, is that the pool there would, from time to time, would the waters would stir, and the people that were sick. The story at the time, the legend was that an angel would come down and stir the pool, and if you were sick or had some kind of affliction, if you could get into the pool, it could heal you. So this pool, there were always sick and infirm and lame and paralyzed people around this pool, and Jesus went there. And it says in verse 5, there was one that had been a person there that had been an invalid for 38 years, and was laying there on a mat by the pool. And Jesus walked by, saw him lying there, and he learned he had been in that condition for a long time, and he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" And I always thought that was the honest question. That why would Jesus ask him that? Why do you want to be well? And the man said, "Well, I've got nobody here to help me get in the water when it's stirred, and when I'm trying to get in, somebody always beats me there, and I miss out. So I guess it's kind of an indirect thing instead of just going, yes." He's telling him the reason why, hey, I think this is why I haven't been able to be healed, is I haven't been able to get in the pool. But back to the question, I mean, why would Jesus ask that? And I think that, God, it's been my experience, God never forces himself into anything. He wants, like the verse says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anybody would have me come in, open the door." I mean, God doesn't beat doors down. He doesn't knock doors down. He doesn't force himself in. He wants his children to love him and freely. I mean, that's the beautiful thing of it, I think. And Jesus approached the man and said, "Do you want me to heal you?" And I wonder if sometimes if there are people that just they're with, I mean, not so much. I mean, you could look at the physical infirmity, or you could also look at spiritual infirmity. I mean, people that just have something in their life that they just, you get comfortable with it. I think I've seen that before, where some people are just, they identify with something, and something, some hurt or some pain or some infirmity of some kind, whether physical or spiritual, and they just identify with it, and they can't let it go. And I think that maybe this guy, just if Jesus was making sure, I mean, if you don't want me to, then I won't. So I always thought that was cool, and it's on us to go. I want to let that go, and to trust the Lord to take us to that next place. And there is a next place. I mean, when God moves in our life and moves us on to something, then it's on to something else in our lives to grow. I thought it's interesting later on, the leaders came up to him and said, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, a guy healed me." And they're like, "Who?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. I mean, he disappeared before I found out who he was, but then he saw him later, and Jesus saw him, and he said later in verse, scroll here. It said later Jesus, in verse 14, said later Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you're well again." And he said, "Hey, there you are. Look at you walking around, Stop sinning, or else something worse could happen to you, or may happen to you." And so he's like, "Okay, now what? You've been healed. We've moved. God's moved in you powerfully in this way. Now what? Now what are you going to do?" And is that what we're afraid of? You know, moving on to that next level. So I think about that a lot in my own life, and things that hurt or pain, or some pain that somebody else has caused me. If I hold on to those things and I draw my identity from it, I wonder sometimes. Anyway, a lot of this is just things that I've picked up over the years and shared and wanted to share with you, and it makes me wonder, and I think about it and dwell on it a lot. You know, it's a challenging life as a Christian, and what we go through and things we look at, and it's never easy to grow, is it? But it's worth it, isn't it? So, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next time.